Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the English Learning Podcast. I'm Brain, your host, and as always, I'm joined by the wonderful Anna.
Hi, Brain, and hi to all our listeners around the world. We're so happy to have you with us today.
Absolutely. Whether you're walking, commuting, cooking, or just relaxing at home, thank you for choosing to spend your time with us.
And today's episode is going to be really inspiring. We're talking about the power of positive thinking and how it can help you on your English learning journey.
Yes, positive thinking isn't just about feeling good. It's actually a powerful tool that can change the way you learn, practice, and speak English.
That's right. And let's be honest, learning a new language can be challenging. Sometimes you feel stuck or you think I'll never be fluent.
Oh, I've heard that so many times from students. But here's the thing, your mindset matters. The way you think affects the way you learn.
Exactly. And that's what we'll explore together today. We'll share simple tips, real examples, and even a little role play to help you think more positively and stay motivated.
And remember, this podcast isn't just about learning English, it's about growing as a person while you learn.
So grab your notebook if you want to take notes or just sit back and enjoy.
Let's dive in. Anna, why don't we start by asking, what exactly is positive thinking? All right, Anna, let's get into it. When we say positive thinking, what do we really mean?
Good question, Brain. I think a lot of people hear the phrase positive thinking and imagine someone just smiling all the time or pretending everything is perfect.
Haha, yes, like ignoring problems and just saying everything's fine.
Exactly. But that's not what positive thinking is about. Positive thinking means choosing to focus on solutions rather than just the problems. It means looking at challenges as opportunities to grow.
I love that. So it's not about pretending bad things don't exist, it's about how we respond to them, right?
That's right. For example, if you make a mistake when speaking English, a positive thinker doesn't say, "Oh no, I'm terrible at English." They say, "Okay, I made a mistake, I'll learn from it and do better next time."
Yes. Positive thinking helps you see mistakes as part of the learning process, not as proof that you're failing.
And it's also about believing that your efforts will make a difference, that if you keep trying, you will improve.
So, Anna, would you say positive thinking is like having a growth mindset?
Absolutely. In fact, positive thinking and growth mindset go hand in hand. A growth mindset is when you believe that your abilities can improve with effort. Positive thinking helps support that belief.
And that's so important for language learners, right? Because if you don't believe you can improve, it's really hard to stay motivated.
Exactly. And one more thing, positive thinking doesn't mean you'll never feel frustrated or tired. Those feelings are normal, but it helps you move through those feelings and keep going.
That's a great point. So, to summarize, positive thinking is not about ignoring difficulties. It's about choosing helpful thoughts, focusing on solutions, and believing in progress.
Perfectly said, Brain. And in the next part, we'll look at what happens when we fall into negative thinking and how it can stop our progress.
Stay with us, listeners. This is where it gets really interesting. All right, Anna, now that we've talked about what positive thinking really means, let's look at the opposite, negative thinking. Why does it stop people from making progress, especially when learning English?
That's such an important question, Brain. I think the first thing to understand is that negative thinking creates fear. When you keep telling yourself things like, "I can't do this," or "I'll just embarrass myself," your brain actually starts to believe it.
Right. And when your brain believes it, you don't even want to try anymore.
Exactly. And when you don't try, you miss out on opportunities to practice to learn to improve.
I see this all the time with English learners. They say things like, "My English is terrible," or "I'll never be fluent," and then they avoid speaking at all.
Yes, and the sad part is their English might actually be better than they think. But negative thinking makes them focus only on their mistakes, not their progress.
That's so true. I remember one student who was really good at English, but she kept saying, "I'm not good enough." And because of that, she would stay silent in group conversations.
Oh, I've met students like that too. And it's not just about English. Negative thinking can affect any goal. But for language learners, it's especially dangerous because it stops you from using the language.
Let's break it down for our listeners. First, negative thinking lowers your confidence. Second, it stops you from practicing. And third, no practice means no progress.
Yes, and here's another thing, negative thinking can make small problems feel huge.
Good point. Like maybe you forget a word during a conversation. A positive thinker says, "That's okay. Next time I'll remember it."
But a negative thinker might say, "See, I'm terrible at this. I shouldn't even try."
And that one small mistake makes them feel like giving up.
Exactly. Negative thinking makes the road feel longer and harder than it really is.
So, listeners, if you catch yourself having these negative thoughts, don't be hard on yourself. It happens to all of us.
Yes, the key is to notice them and then choose more helpful thoughts. And don't worry, we'll talk about how to do that a little later in this episode.
Stick with us next. We'll explore how positive thinking actually helps you move forward and succeed as an English learner. Okay, so we've talked about how negative thinking can block your progress. Now let's flip the script. Anna, how does positive thinking actually help English learners succeed?
Great question, Brain. Positive thinking helps in so many ways. First of all, it gives you the confidence to try. When you believe I can do this or I'm improving every day, you're more likely to speak, practice, and engage with English.
Yes, and the more you practice, the faster you grow. It's like positive thinking opens the door, and then practice helps you walk through it.
Exactly. Positive thinking also helps you see mistakes differently. Instead of feeling embarrassed, you see mistakes as feedback, a way to learn.
That reminds me of a student I had. He used to say, "Every mistake is my teacher."
Oh, I love that. That's such a positive way to look at it. And you know what? That student probably made faster progress than someone who was afraid of making mistakes.
He did, because he wasn't afraid to speak. And here's the thing, positive thinkers also stay motivated longer. When things get tough, they don't give up easily.
That's true. Learning English is like a marathon, not a sprint. You need to stay motivated over time.
And positive thinking gives you that energy, that inner push to keep going, even when it feels hard.
And let's not forget, positive thinkers tend to enjoy the journey more. They celebrate small wins like, hey, today I spoke English with a new person, or I understood that podcast.
Yes, and those small wins add up to big success.
So to sum it up, positive thinking helps you learn from mistakes, stay motivated, and actually enjoy the process.
Beautifully said, Anna. And in the next part, we'll share how you can train your mind to think more positively, even if you feel like a negative thinker right now.
Stay tuned, friends. We've got lots of practical tips coming.
All right, so now we know why positive thinking is so powerful. But here's the big question. How can our listeners train their minds to think more positively, especially when learning English?
Great question, Brain. And I want to say this first. Positive thinking is like a muscle. The more you practice it, the stronger it gets.
I love that. So it's not something you either have or don't have. It's something you build over time.
Exactly. So let's share some practical ways to train that positive thinking muscle.
Okay, I'll start. One simple tip is use positive affirmations. Every morning or before you practice English, say something like, "I'm improving every day," or "I'm brave enough to speak."
Yes, and the key is to say it like you mean it. Even if you don't fully believe it at first, saying it daily starts to change the way you feel.
Right. It's like planting seeds. The more you repeat those positive thoughts, the more they grow.
Another tip, focus on what you can do, not what you can't do. Maybe you're not fluent yet, but can you introduce yourself in English? Can you order food? Celebrate that.
That's such a good point. Sometimes learners only see what's missing, not how far they've come.
Exactly. And here's one of my favorites, visualize success. Before you have an English conversation, close your eyes and imagine yourself speaking clearly, confidently, and with a smile.
Oh, that's powerful. Your brain actually starts to believe what you imagine.
It does. And when the real conversation happens, you'll feel more ready.
I'd also suggest reframe mistakes. When something doesn't go as planned, instead of thinking, I failed, think, this is part of my learning.
Yes, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? That simple question turns a negative experience into a positive one.
And finally, surround yourself with positive energy. Listen to podcasts like this one, join friendly language groups, and connect with people who support your learning.
That makes such a big difference. When you're in a positive environment, it's easier to stay positive yourself.
So, to our listeners, you can train your mind to think positively. Start small practice daily, and remember every small positive thought adds up.
Absolutely. And in our next part, we'll talk about what to do when those negative thoughts pop up, because they will sometimes, and that's okay.
Stick around, you don't want to miss this part. All right, Anna, we've shared how to train the mind for positive thinking. But let's be honest, negative thoughts will appear from time to time.
That's so true, Brain. No matter how positive we try to be, we all have moments where that little voice says, you're not good enough or you'll never get this right.
Exactly. And the key is not to fight that voice with anger, but to notice it and handle it in a healthy way.
Right. The first step is be aware of your thoughts. When you catch yourself thinking something negative, pause and say, I see you. Negative thought.
Yes, just noticing the thought already gives you power over it.
The second step is question the thought. Ask yourself, is this really true? Is it 100% true that I'm bad at English?
Most of the time, the answer will be no. It's just your fear talking.
Exactly, and then replace it with a positive or more helpful thought. For example, instead of, I'll never be fluent, try, I'm improving every day, fluency takes time.
That's such a powerful shift. And you know what? This doesn't mean you'll never feel nervous or unsure. It means you learn to guide your thoughts in a better direction.
And here's another tip, write your negative thoughts down. When you see them on paper, they often lose their power.
Oh, I love that idea. And maybe under each negative thought, you can write a positive one to balance it.
Yes, for example, negative. I always make mistakes. Positive mistakes help me learn.
And over time, this practice trains your mind to respond more positively, even when challenges come up.
So listeners, remember, negative thoughts are normal. The magic happens in how you respond to them.
Well said, Anna. And next, we're going to share real-life examples of positive thinking in action, so you can see how this works in daily life.
Stay with us. This is where it gets fun.
All right, Anna, now, let's bring this all to life. Can you share some real examples of positive thinking in daily life for our English learners?
Definitely, Brain. One simple example is when you're practicing speaking with someone and you forget a word.
Oh, that happens to me all the time.
Right? Instead of thinking I'm terrible at this, you can say to yourself, it's okay to forget words I'm learning, and I'll remember next time.
I like that. Another example is when you're listening to a movie or podcast and you don't understand everything.
Exactly. Instead of getting frustrated, say I understood some parts, that's progress.
That positive focus makes it easier to keep listening and practicing.
Here's another one. When you get nervous before speaking English, remind yourself it's okay to be nervous. Everyone feels that way. I'm brave for trying.
That's such a good mindset. It turns nerves into courage.
And finally, celebrate small wins, like finishing a book, having a short conversation, or learning a new phrase.
Yes. Instead of waiting for perfect fluency, enjoy every step forward.
These little moments of positive thinking help build your confidence and keep you motivated over time.
Listeners, try to notice these moments in your own day and practice thinking positively. It really adds up.
Absolutely. And up next, we'll do a quick role play to show positive thinking versus negative thinking in action.
You won't want to miss it. All right, Anna, let's do a quick role play to show our listeners what negative thinking versus positive thinking looks like in real life.
Great idea, Brain. I'll play the negative thinker and you can be the positive thinker.
Sounds good. Here we go.
Oh no, I forgot the word I wanted to say. I'm so bad at English. Maybe I shouldn't even try to speak.
That's okay. Everyone forgets words sometimes. I'm learning, and next time, I'll remember it.
But I made a mistake in that sentence. I'll never sound fluent.
Mistakes are part of learning. Each mistake helps me get better.
I'm too nervous to speak in front of people.
Nervousness is normal. I'm brave for trying, and practice will help me feel more confident.
Wow, Brain, I already feel better just hearing your positive thoughts.
Me too, Anna. And listeners, try practicing this role play with yourself. Catch those negative thoughts and replace them with positive ones.
That's a great exercise to build your positive thinking muscle.
All right, Anna. We've talked a lot about positive thinking today. Now it's time to create a simple plan our listeners can use every day.
Yes, a plan makes it easier to practice positive thinking regularly. So here's a quick, easy plan you can try.
Step 1. Every morning, say a positive affirmation to yourself. Something like, I am improving my English every day.
Step 2. During the day, notice when negative thoughts pop up. When they do pause, question them and replace them with a positive thought.
Step 3. Celebrate small wins no matter how tiny. Finished a conversation? Great! Learned a new word? Awesome!
And step 4. Surround yourself with positive energy. Listen to podcasts, join supportive groups, and practice with friends who encourage you.
Simple, right? The key is to make this a daily habit.
Exactly. Little steps every day lead to big changes over time.
So listeners, take a moment after this episode and write down your own positive thinking plan.
We believe in you. You've got this.
Well, Anna, what an amazing journey today. We've learned so much about the power of positive thinking.
Absolutely, Brain. Positive thinking isn't just a nice idea, it's a real tool that can help our listeners succeed in English and in life.
And remember, it takes time and practice. So don't be hard on yourself if it feels challenging at first.
Yes, here's our challenge for you. For the next 7 days, try to practice your positive thinking plan every day.
Say your affirmations, catch those negative thoughts, and celebrate your wins no matter how small.
And if you want, share your progress with us in the comments or on social media. We love hearing your stories.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Keep thinking positive, keep practicing English, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye for now, and remember, your mind is powerful. Use it well.